They call me the American doctor who healed with tradition. After decades of practicing medicine in the serene hills of Nagano, Japan, I've learned that healing isn't always in the latest drug or procedure. Sometimes it's found in the most humble food sitting right there in your kitchen. I've spent over 45 years treating aging patients from the cherry blossom towns of Japan to modern hospitals in New York. And there's one thing I know for certain: your legs are the first to betray you as you age. But what if I told you, as a physician who's walked beside over 8,000 seniors through their health journeys, that there is one powerful food, natural, delicious, and simple, that can stop weak legs in their tracks? Let me take you back to a quiet morning in the mountains of Iyama, where this discovery first came to light. The village that walks forever. Her name was Atsuko, 92 years old. I met her during a research project on aging and mobility in rural Japan. She lived alone, cooked all her meals, and still walked daily to a small shrine a mile uphill. No cane, no joint pain, no signs of frailty. When I asked her secret, she smiled, handed me a small lacquered bowl, and said, "IMO, sweet potato." I chuckled at the simplicity, but as a doctor and researcher, I don't laugh long. I asked questions. Why was this woman, nearly a century old, walking better than some 60-year-olds I'd seen in Tokyo? The hidden threat to independence. Let me be blunt. After the age of 65, your muscles begin to vanish. Sarcopenia, the silent thief of strength. First, it's harder to get out of a chair. Then you struggle with stairs. Eventually, walking to the mailbox becomes a chore. But what most people don't realize is that this begins with the legs. The quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves carry your entire body weight. When they go, your balance falters. Your independence fades. One fall is all it takes to turn freedom into permanent dependence. I've watched too many of my patients come in smiling and leave in a wheelchair months later, not because of disease, but because they ignored the early whispers of weakness. But Atsuko didn't. The power of the purple root. Sweet potatoes, specifically the deep purple and orange varieties found in Japan, are one of the most potent, muscle-preserving foods nature ever created. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, just a potato, listen closely. This isn't a gimmick. It's science. Sweet potatoes are rich in complex carbohydrates, which provide sustained energy without blood sugar crashes. That means your muscles get a steady fuel source throughout the day. But that's just the beginning. They contain vitamin A in the form of beta-carotene, a powerful antioxidant that repairs muscle tissue and reduces the chronic inflammation that destroys muscle cells with age. More importantly, sweet potatoes are an abundant source of potassium, a mineral critical for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and hydration. Low potassium leads to cramps, spasms, and muscular fatigue, common symptoms in aging adults. Lastly, they're packed with fiber, which promotes gut health. Why does that matter? Because your gut is where you absorb the nutrients needed to maintain strong, resilient muscles. Without a healthy gut, all the protein and supplements in the world won't help you. The science you can trust. Let me share a study that solidified this in my mind. In a 2020 publication from the Journal of Nutrition and Healthy Aging, elderly adults who consumed diets high in beta-carotene and potassium-rich foods, like sweet potatoes, showed significantly improved lower limb strength over a 6-month period. Their walking speed improved. Their risk of falling decreased by nearly 30%. This wasn't a fluke, it was a dietary shift. Another study from clinical endocrinology and metabolism found that older adults with higher potassium intake had better muscle mass and stronger physical performance, even when adjusting for exercise levels. Still think it's just a potato? A patient who walked back from the edge 2 years ago. I began working with a retired teacher named Mr. Paulson, 78 years old, former marathon runner. But after a hip injury and a year of inactivity, his legs were frail. He needed a walker just to get from his bedroom to the bathroom. He didn't want medication. He didn't want excuses. He wanted a solution. I gave him a simple plan. He thought I was crazy at first. Eat 1 sweet potato every day with the skin. Roast it, steam it, mash it. I don't care how you cook it, just eat it. Along with light resistance band exercises and vitamin D supplementation. We tracked his progress over 90 days. By month 2, he walked unaided. By month 4, he was doing light hikes again. When he visited my clinic after 6 months, he stood up from the chair without using his hands. That's not just a functional victory. That's a medical milestone in preventing falls and preserving independence. Why this works even in your 90s. Unlike synthetic supplements, sweet potatoes deliver nutrients in a bioavailable, gentle form your aging body can actually use. They're not just a carb source. They're a complete muscle recovery package, slow-release energy, tissue-healing antioxidants, hydration-balancing electrolytes, prebiotic fiber for a healthy gut microbiome. They don't spike your blood sugar. They don't inflame your joints. And they're accessible, affordable, timeless. This is not theory. This is nature's design. This is functional food medicine. A simple daily ritual. If you're serious about protecting your legs and with them, your independence, start with this simple ritual. Each morning, have a half to 1 medium sweet potato, ideally with the skin on. Steam it, roast it, or add it to a smoothie. Pair it with a source of protein like eggs or tofu. Stay consistent for at least 30 days. You may begin to notice improved leg endurance, fewer nighttime cramps, better balance when walking, more confidence getting up from chairs or stairs. Consistency, not complexity, is the secret. More than just food, it's a philosophy. In Japanese culture, we say shinshin ichinyo, mind and body as one. Weak legs are not just a physical symptom. They affect your confidence, your social life, your desire to move. When you reclaim strength in your legs, you're not just walking stronger, you're living stronger. Sweet potatoes may be simple, but their impact is profound. In my long years of practice, I've seen them become the cornerstone of healing, not just in muscles, but in mindset. Because when patients feel themselves getting stronger, they start believing in possibility again. The science behind the simplicity. Let's review what we've learned. Sarcopenia, or muscle loss with age, starts early and often targets the legs first. Weak legs increase the risk of falls, fractures, and loss of independence. Sweet potatoes are rich in potassium, essential for muscle contractions. Beta-carotene vitamin A combats inflammation, supports recovery. Fiber boosts gut health, nutrient absorption. Complex carbohydrates provide sustained energy. Studies show that diets rich in these nutrients improve strength, walking speed, and reduce fall risk. Simple daily inclusion of sweet potatoes has shown remarkable results in clinical and real-life cases. This is not a miracle. This is biology supported by decades of nutritional science and thousands of patient outcomes. Final words from Dr. Raymond Kondo. You don't need exotic superfoods or expensive treatments to walk strong into your later years. Sometimes, all it takes is the wisdom of tradition, the backing of science, and a daily bowl of roasted sweet potato. So, if you're sitting there wondering what the first step to reclaiming your strength is, it might just be a trip to the produce section. Try it for 30 days. See the difference. Then come back and tell me. If this message helped you, please like this video, leave a comment sharing what you learned, and subscribe for more real, science-backed health strategies from someone who's walked the journey with thousands of aging souls just like you.